What's up, guys? Doing another Star Realms replay, and got another game here against Arabarra, and pretty awesome, pretty epic game. Literally just played it and I was like, this one's gonna be the next one for sure. So let's check it out. Already you can see 2 trade goes for the... Let's take a look at the start here real quick. So it's got 2 trades. It's going to go Solar Ski, Fed Shuttle. Love this opening. It's a high trade, healing, defense, strategy. Totally makes sense. It's better than buying the Explorer. There is a warp grade cruiser out there. You know, seems like something you're going to want to buy. It's a little odd. It's not odd. I would say it's it does make your deck heavy, right? Unless you draw the Fed Shell and the Solar Skeef together, typically what's going to happen is you're going to get weighted down with trade. So there's an argument to be made that Explorer is a better play because you can always scrap the Explorer later, hence keeping your deck thin and efficient. However, there's no scrappers out here, so efficiency is not as important because it's not a battle over scrap anymore. Or at least, not yet, right? It's really more a battle of resources. And since there's not a lot of damage, taking trade is good because it'll set you up for future turns to pick up the damage that you need to win the game. So, I'm actually totally cool with this play. I think it's actually quite a good play. So because I know my opponent is now very trade heavy, there's a couple different lines you can take. There's a couple of different game plans you can create. One, the one I typically recommend and go for, is just go aggro. Kill them before they have a chance to achieve their high trade, big bombs, attack you with 8 drops strategy, right? However, there's another way to counter it too. You can go bases, and then what'll happen is because they have so much trade, they're not going to be able to kill your bases, hence those bases will stay out longer, and then you can establish a base strategy and then just block them out. The problem with that, though, is if they do get lucky and can utilize the trade that they have and buy big bombs, your bases won't matter. So typically I like to go a little more aggressive in this scenario. However, even more different than that, look at this trade row. There's 2 cargo pods out there. I don't think I can let my opponent get both of them. Or even worse, get one of them and get a Predator. I think I need to get at least one of them. I'm not exactly shooting for anything. This is more of a kind of keep it away from my opponent strategy. So, yep, we get the far right one. Because clearly that's the better one. You know, it's like Denny's, right? Let's not go to that Denny's. Let's go to the good Denny's. So he picks up Builderbot. I think that's great, right? Start the scrap train rolling. Draw into his blue card so they... Oh, yep, see? And then more blue cards. This play concerns me a little bit. I realize that he has blues. I realize that he'll be able to, you know, draw into the Solar Skeef and stuff. But I think the better play here is to actually pick up the integration port, or to pick up the cargo pod or the Predator to keep it away from me. You've got 4 trade now. You can go Predator Explorer if you still want to get more trade, although I don't see why you would want more trade at this point. I think you got plenty, which is why I think the integration port is actually a better play here. All I have right now is a cargo pod. And so if you were trying to prevent me from utilizing the cargo pod to its fullest, you'd probably want to take this other cargo pod, like if you're thinking of hate buying. If you're not necessarily caring about hate buying, getting the integration port will actually combo with your scrapper to give you extra trade. Plus, again, bases early typically are hard to beat and will stay out there longer. Integration port is a great early game card. It usually stays out there for a while. It gives you that one extra trade every time. You know, it's worth having. But he goes in that direction. Oh, okay, he does pick up Predator. Never mind. That's actually good. I like that play. For some reason, I was like, oh, he's not going to get Predator? What, are you insane? Predator is so good. Let me scoot a little closer here, guys. Sorry. So this is fine. Good play. It does put me a little bit on the defensive, and it ruins my desire to get Predator Cargo Pod. So we're going to have to adjust. We're definitely picking up that Cargo Pod, though. Yeah, just because it goes with our Cargo Pod. And a Lancer flips. Super lucky. This is really good. If he gets any of these bases, we'll have something to kill it with. And potentially, we'll probably be able to get the Warp Gate Cruiser, because I highly doubt my opponent's going to pass up this Fed Cruiser here, seeing as how he's going super blue. So this combos with our yellow. So we might get 2 draws out of this. So we're kind of looking at some sort of like green-yellow deck, probably. Maybe. Not necessarily committed, you know, because the Cargo Pod's scrap, so we could probably scrap those 2 if we really wanted to. Hard to say. I don't think we've fully committed to anything yet, but we have the makings of a green-yellow deck coming, so let's see how it goes. Let's see how this game progresses. Yep. Just like we thought, our opponent is getting that Fed Cruiser. This is unfortunate, though, because we can't get the Warp Gate Cruiser, and in fact, we can't get anything that's out there, so that's poopy. And a Peacekeeper flips. That's actually really bad for us, because he has the trade, so he's going to be able to get the Warp Gate Cruiser. So, or get the Peacekeeper, excuse me. So this is sort of the benefits of going heavy trade early, is that if big stuff does flip, you can pick it up, especially these really big blues. So, while I think going a heavy trade strategy is somewhat unreliable, in this case it seems to be working out, so good for him. Alright, so yeah, we pick up the integration port. Like I said, he's still mostly trade, so hopefully that will live. And maybe we can get Warning Beacon afterwards. Ooh, maybe we can get Peacekeeper, Warp Gate Cruiser. I don't know. There's stuff. There's stuff to like. There's a lot to like. Oh, we got 6. He's got 7. Damn it. I don't like this purchase. He doesn't need it. He's got plenty of healing. He's got Peacekeeper. This will only bloat his deck. So, this changes things. What do we do now? Well, I like the idea of Warp Gate Cruiser. I think it's actually an underrated card. And it, spoiler alert, we do get it later. But I think the correct play here, too, since he bought this Predator, is to go Burrower Orbital Platform. Right? The Burrower will combo with our Cargo Pod to give us more draws and more damage. Orbital Platform will give us draws to get into our Cargo Pods and our Burrowers. We're going green-yellow. I think is the way to go. Did he get a red? I don't remember, honestly. Yep. That's the play. Okay, so here's an interesting play. Why not get the Warning Beacon? Why get a farm ship? Do you really need more trade at this point? No. What you need to do is start killing your opponent. I think this is actually a fairly big mistake. It doesn't change the game. You know, I don't think this is like, oh, there's the mistake. You know, this is the tragic flaw. Right? This isn't, I don't know, Romeo and Juliet's impatience or something. But the farm ship here is unnecessary. Maybe you want to keep yellows away from me, fine. But if I was going to get yellows, I'm going to get Command Center or Warp Gate Cruiser first. Those are much better cards. They deal more damage. They're just more impactful. Farm Ship doesn't really do anything for me aside from giving me card draw and more trade. It's not like the dangerous card. So it's also very redundant in Arabarra's deck. So I think this is a fairly clear mistake. Yep, and we go ahead and get Warp Gate Cruiser. So I was contemplating going Captured Outpost, Command Center for 7 and leaving the Warp Gate Cruiser. And I think there's some merit to that. There's some merit to going heavy yellow base. But the reason I wanted to get the Warp Gate Cruiser is because I have no scrap. So my thinking was, Warp Gate Cruiser is going to be very good in this specific instance. When you don't have scrap and you have just mostly crap in your deck. I have some good cards, but I still have all my starters. So a lot of times what ends up happening is you get Warp Gate Cruiser and 4 scouts. You toss all the scouts, you get 8 damage, you draw a card. But I also have yellow, so the likelihood of me getting 2 cards is pretty high. And since there's 2 yellow bases out there, the likelihood of me getting one of them next turn also pretty high. So I would rather me have the Warp Gate Cruiser than him have the Warp Gate Cruiser. And I also thought that the likelihood of him getting both of those bases were pretty low. Excuse me. So my thinking was just go ahead and get the Warp Gate Cruiser now. And it's weird. Like, if you have a deck that's kind of heavy on scrap, Warp Gate Cruiser sort of sucks. Because it ends up just being a card draw a lot of the time. Sometimes two. But in a deck that has no scrap, Warp Gate Cruiser is really strong because it ends up being somewhere between 4 and 8 damage and a card draw. And potentially 2 card draws, especially given my deck. So, while it has narrow application, our deck actually fits the application for it. So, in this particular instance, I do think it is the better play. I'm worried that our opponent will start getting a scrap edge on us, so I'm going to have to think more aggressively. But he's also got a lot of healing, so it's going to be tough to win here. Quite honestly, I think we're not a favorite anymore, even though we picked up good cards. Oh, and I took the Warning Beacon so he wouldn't combo it with his reds. Plus, you know, it's another base. So maybe I'm just building a base deck. Oh my god. Wow, look at this combo. Holy crap. And he gets Command Center. Very good. Keeps the yellow away from me. I think he would have been better served to get the Captured Outpost, but he had to buy one of them. There's no way he could let me have more yellow bases. And you could argue that Command Center, even though it doesn't draw, would be more effective from a damage standpoint, not necessarily from a draw standpoint. So here's an odd play. I think you could argue that Captured Outpost or Imperial Frigate would be the better play if I had more hit points. This is purely a defensive play. This is also like, hey, maybe I can have a base deck. Maybe it's trending that way. There's a lot of bases out there. It looks like it's going to be a a battle for the bases. Ooh, and we picked up a scrapbook. That is excellent. Excellent. Nice. And we have a discarder, so we'll be able to get it. We'll be able to draw it. So he gets a second Command Center. Interesting. Again, yeah, I get you're trying to keep it away from me. Why not get the Captured Outpost of the Imperial Frigate? I think these are much more dangerous cards than the Command Center, especially when you already have one. But good news is, integration port stays up. Nice. So we get 3 damage. We get the frigate. I'm thinking I need to start killing my opponent, seeing as how he's at 49 and we're at 25. So I ended up passing on the Captured Outpost, but I really think Captured Outpost is an excellent card, and while I think Frigate is slightly better, I don't think either one is a mistake. And you could argue that if I am going base deck, Captured Outpost is a little better. So my thinking here is I'm not necessarily committing to a base deck right now, and I don't necessarily think my opponent is going base deck per se. So right now I'm kind of thinking protect the face just enough to get the damage and to kill him. But I am fairly desperate at this point. And quite honestly, I'm not sure my decision making is very clean at this point either. I will honestly admit that I am fairly desperate here and might be on tilt and might be making poor decisions. Okay, so we get a little unlucky in a sense that he gets Dreadnought. But we get a lucky in the sense that, hey, we get to keep our freaking orbital platform. So, you know, a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. And this is why we bought this trading post, right? Heals us for 1, protects us for 4, potentially keeps the orbital platform alive for another turn. Wouldn't that be great? Force our opponent to discard. Ooh, we get lucky here. We get very lucky here, right? Both these bases live. Maybe our opponent is not damaged enough. But he got another scrapper, so that's actually really bad. And because his life total is so high and he has so much healing, every scrapper he gets shortens the clock on this game. So either we need to just commit to a base strategy and get set up, and then just like it won't matter how efficient he is, or we commit to a damage strategy with just enough bases. And it's tough because, like I said, we are on the clock now. So I think a reasonable argument could be made for either one. So I end up scrapping everything and getting the stealth tower. My thinking is, you know, hey, I can get 2 orbital platforms, I can get 2 trading posts, I can get 2 captured outposts. Yeah, never know. I could just copy one of his bases, you know. So here's an interesting thing that flips. The orbital shuttle flips, and I drop a ton of damage on Arabarra here. So now I'm thinking, go for the throat. Go for the kill. So I end up scrapping the frigate for 2 reasons. One, like I said, hey, let's try to apply a little bit more pressure, get a little more damage. In this case, I ended up getting a scrapper and then scrapping the scout and then scrapping the scrapper. But the other thing is, notice how there was originally 5 cards. So I would not have been able to cycle if I didn't draw 1 more card. So that's the other reason I did it, was to trigger a cycle with these 2 bases still out there, and then having access to all of my deck instead of having access to only those 5 remaining cards. The only problem is I'm out of scrappers now, so I'm going to need to pick one up pretty darn soon. Either that or just kill my opponent, who's down to 18. But he's got a lot of healing, so this might not have been the best play, to be honest with you. I think this might have been a little... I might have jumped the gun a little bit on there. Oh, wow, look at this. But he's got no yellow cards. Oh, he does have a yellow card. Oh, wow. Oh, look at that. Nice. And he gets to keep the farm ship. I would have scrapped the farm ship here. Deal the extra damage. Get me down lower. You should feel very threatened right now and should not be holding on to cards like farm ship. So I think that's a bit of a mistake. Well, we got to kill one of them. So we copy the warning beacon. We deal 4 damage. We kill him, but... It wasn't a wasted turn. We did, you know, add 7 to our face protection, but it's an unfortunate turn in the sense that the command center is still up there. But the good news is, you know, 17 cards in the deck. There's a high likelihood he draws bad. He might not be drawing bad. Okay, he drew semi-bad. Wow. And he picks up frickin' Junkyard and Loyal Colony. So... when I was playing this game, like when you look at this game, you might be thinking, oh no, like he just picked up 2 excellent bases. But you see this right here? He's got 15 cards left. He's not seeing those bases for at least 2 turns, maybe even 3 turns, depending upon how many draws he has. So I wasn't really worried. I was just like, meh. It's okay. It's okay. Warning Beacon lived. We're going to set up 2 more bases. We're going to have a base wall. We are basically stealing bases at this point. Right? This is our new plan. Steal bases, set up a base wall, force him to break through it. He's not going to be able to. And then we're going to win on damage, because he doesn't have a whole lot of damage. He just has healing and bases. So, that's our new plan. Let's see if it works. It might not. Alright, toss, so we can get the damage. Good, great, get the extra draw. Okay, cool. So we've got enough. We got him down to 21. We're feeling good now. We're feeling good. And here's the turning point in the game. Right here. Watch what happens. He doesn't have enough damage to kill 2 bases. And he absolutely does not have enough damage to kill Spike Cluster. And some of y'all were knocking Spike Cluster. You shouldn't. Spike Cluster is a good card. So now, we get to go off on him. Boom. Card draw. Boom. More damage. Boom. More healing. Boom. More damage. Boom. Get the cycles. Grab those bases so we can draw. Get my opponent down to 7. 8. Alright, let's get him. So unless he has a massive turn, this game's freaking over, man. We'll get 6 damage with the Warp Gate Cruiser, 3 damage with the Orbital Platform. That's 9. And if either one of these live, we definitely got him. So, you know, unless he does that. Oh, wow. See, now he's doing it, right? Like, now he's scrapping and trying to get down. He should have been doing that before, man. I'm not saying it's too late now, but it's less impactful now. So he does kill all the bases. He does drop 14 in our frickin' face. So, yeah, we're almost dead. And he healed up quite a bit. I mean, that was a massive turn. So, originally I was thinking, oh, just use the Warp Gate Cruiser first, get all the damage, combo it with the Orbital Platform. But then I drew the Stealth Tower, which gives me the Orbital Platform, which gives me another draw. So, you know, why not take the extra damage? So close. So close. Trading Post, if you scrap it, deals 3 damage. So in theory, I could have scrapped it, taken him down to 2. Then maybe he dies with this, right? Well, I also knew that he had, yeah, bases. So, look at that. He managed to heal up back to 11. Now we don't have lethal anymore. So, you know, this is the other thing that makes going against a trade heal deck so difficult, is that every time you think you got them down, they're not down. But it's also hard for them to deal a lot of damage, so. Alright, we just set up every frickin' base we got now. We just gotta hope. Hope and pray. Oh, he's got nothing. Oh, and we just drop the hammer on him and he concedes. Oh, wow, did we get lucky. Felt good though. It was nice. It was nice. Glad we won that one. That one was very close. Not 100% certain I played that well. I did a lot of hate buying this game, right? I just like, he's going bases, I need to steal him. He's going bases, I need to steal him. And I took all the card draw I possibly could. The recycling stations, the orbital platforms, right? I just played very defensively. And when your opponent is very trade heavy like that, you got to utilize, you know, like I said in the beginning, right? There's a couple different strategies. You can go damage strategy or you can go base strategy. Well, in this case, I kind of did a hybrid. You know, that was what was presented to me. So kind of had to make it work. Kind of had to cobble it together. But at the same time, I also knew, like, this is my opponent's plan. Like, he's clearly going heavy trade. He's clearly going heavy base. He's clearly going a healing strategy. So he was playing a long game. So I knew that that was going to give me a lot more turns. And I also knew that that meant that if I played too aggro, he was just going to outlast me. So I kind of had to blunt his strategy and then also set up a strategy that he couldn't get through. And the best way to do that was to steal the bases from him. So, yeah, that was the game plan, and it ended up working out. You know, he had that one bad turn that allowed us to have one really good turn. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And a lot of times that's the game, right? Sometimes you just need that one turn to change things. You need that one lucky break in the game. And if you get that lucky break, you win. But my plan for this game was clear, was sound. Yeah, I had to tweak it about halfway through, but it was in response to what my opponent was doing. So yeah, you always got to be aware. What's my opponent doing? What is their plan? How do I beat that plan? And you'd be shocked at how many games you win because of that. You know? And the thing is, I've been on the other end of that a lot too. Man, it just, you just feel the game slipping away. You're like, oh no, 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 stop. Stop buying the things that I want. Stop stealing my strategy. It's like, oh, it's really hard to counter. It's not always necessary. You know, sometimes you just have a aggressive strategy and you go for it. But games like this, especially when you're playing against a thinking opponent who, you know, clearly has a game plan, this is what you got to do. So, yeah, some high-level, interesting Star Realms. I hope you guys liked it. Thanks again. Thanks for sitting through this whole video, and we'll see you later.